start this. So I probably won't videotape all of today because I don't think that we'll need it. But first I wanted to ask about the homework. How's it going?
Some ideas.
It's a lower
Some
10.
examples.
Hopefully it was good because I heard you turned it in.
You turned it in? Okay, what do you need help with? What do you need clarification on? Yes.
Maybe a few, so homework 1, denotation and connotation. I felt like denotation was like really easy and I was like, this has to be wrong. And then I moved on to connotation and I really had trouble figuring it out because I feel like you could change meaning to a lot of things. Like if I said woman, I could be like, woman.
Well, right, but the sign itself doesn't automatically have a connotative
Okay, so
meaning.
this one,
Like
I
that
got. What about relapse and relapse?
Here, let
that
me open it
Oh, that
up
was
so
on a
we can
different
look at it.
answer.
Fall
Sorry.
and relapse.
Converseness, I got that one. But I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, after I got going on denotation and connotation, I was kind of in the realm of double meaning instead of denotative and connotative.
Well, sometimes there's overlap. Remember semantics, it's all kind of blended together. Okay, so how you can best tell is when you see a certain sign, do you automatically have a certain reaction to it? Okay, so one student in the CSI class said, for example, there's this, right, which doesn't have an automatic reaction to it, and this, which does have an automatic reaction to it.
Is this an automatic reaction?
We use that.
Because it's a happy sign, so it's positive?
It could, but it's not an automatically, like, that always means something very positive, even though the sign itself is positive. So it could, that's borderline.
Like
Right.
this, grief?
But that's a good example. There's this. So this does not necessarily have connotation to it, right? It can, but it's a denotative sign. It's just indicating a person who's deaf, right? But this does have a positive connotation, right? So this is automatically positive, right? This is automatically negative, right? This is automatically negative,
Oh, I did a lot wrong.
right? So the denotation means it is what it is. You can put a facial expression to it and it could have certain connotation, but the sign itself is just descriptive. It means something, right? And a connotative sign would be something that when you see it, again, you could make it have connotation with the right facial expression, but does it automatically mean something positive or negative or mean something that it's not actually saying, like a double meaning?
Do these have to be like comparison things, or like deaf heart, or does it have to be just like deaf heart, grief?
I just couldn't.
I didn't
or-
specify, and so I was open to either,
Okay.
right? I also had another question that a student said, okay, do you want me to just gloss it, or do you want me to like describe what I'm doing so that you know what the sign actually is, right? And the answer to that was, if it's a clear, like this is what most people think of when it's glossed, right, and that describes the sign in itself, then you don't need any further explanation, right? But if it's a sign that does need further explanation, then you need to do further explanation, right? That makes sense? My convoluted answer?
I feel like I was like thinking about context too, and that was confusing me. Because then if it was a different context, that would change like when you're using the sign. Like I wrote overslept, like oversleep.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's probably wrong, but I was like, well, I think that could be both positive or negative. Like you overslept, like, oh no.
To sleep
Or I
in versus
slept
to
in.
oversleep, right? So if you were to gloss it as overslept, right, then I would assume that it's the negative
Yeah.
one, like, oh, you lazy loser,
Yeah.
right? Versus if you were to gloss it as sleep in, right, it's the same sign, but it has a different connotation,
Positive.
and that's based on context. With this, you're not giving context, so it's how you gloss it, right? But if you're going to gloss it as overslept, but you don't mean it as being negative, right, or positive, or whatever, you mean it denotatively. If you were to say, well, the denotation for, oh, I slept in, right, but you're glossing it as oversleep, meaning that you'd have to do some kind of something so that I know that you mean the one that it just means to oversleep versus you're lazy and you overslept that way.
Well, I put that on the connotation though. You said-
Which could be right. It could be. Yeah. So again, I know. There's so much gray that it gets really convoluted, and I get that. Just try and simplify it and say, okay, when you see that sign, it automatically has a reaction, whether like, oh, really, or, ooh, right? Think of political correctness. Okay, that can help, right? Yeah, things like that. First. Oh, no, Nikki. I saw a hand over here.
Somewhere over here. It was just with oversleep and sleeping, like I feel like there's an overlap into something else with it.
That could
like
be.
another linguistic thing.
Metaphor or anatomy?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
Why?
right.
This is on all my answers now.
Yeah. Okay. There is overlap.
Okay.
Right. So that should make it easier in some ways because now I'm broadening the scope.
Okay.
Right. Just think of when you see that sign, you don't necessarily think of anything. It's just neutral. When you see this sign, you're automatically thinking that it means something else. It has a connotation to it.
So could you have a full list of denotative signs and then a full, complete different list of connotative
Yes.
signs? So like you could.
That aren't related. That's what
Cat.
Keela was asking.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I was lost. So like cat on denotative, and then like
Cat.
help
Yes.
on. So you didn't want
You
the
can do it either
denotative
way.
and.
Break that
Not
down.
necessarily. It can, but it didn't have to be.
If I do it again and send it again,
Just be sure to say, please disregard my.
I don't want to disregard the first one. I want to get extra points for doing both.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna grade. Do you know how much stuff I have to grade right now? I'm not gonna grade.
You know how
this.
bad I need an A?
No, you can redo it and send it in and say disregard previous or.
I think the previous was fine.
Okay,
I think it was
then that's what I'll grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, would grief work? I mean,
Yeah, I would say so.
'cause it's
Definitely
like,
has
oh, that
connotation.
person's like
Grief.
like
That always means a very
sad thing.
in-depth. Yeah, you're automatically gonna have a reaction to when somebody signs grief.
Oh, what about superior?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
That.
What about the second homework? Is anyone struggling with that? Or the second part of this, I don't think you guys struggle with. What about the second homework? Anybody struggle with?
Hold on.
I looked at it and went, I'm gonna do that later.
Let's see.
I
I
wrote-
remember what I said.
I tried to follow your
Maybe with
example.
me
Example of
scared.
ASL Center, which-
I had a hard one and I was like, this is too easy. I have done it wrong.
You really don't like this.
Why is this that hard?
Okay,
I don't know.
can I read my sentence?
Yeah.
So I like tried to copy what was on the PowerPoint. So I did like boy, right, store, left.
Uh-huh.
And then you wrote like plus, and then you wrote like indicating verb that shows like dog chasing cat. So I wrote indicating verb that shows boy goes to the store.
Uh-huh.
So I did that, and then it says changes meaning if signed this way. Do I rewrite like boy right, store left, and then plus like indicating verb saying store goes to boy or something?
Yeah, that would change it. Yeah.
That would be okay?
Yeah, so.
I know, I thought that was
It can
funny. I was
happen.
like, store's going to boy.
Right, so, or
Like a
going
salesperson.
home to the
Yeah.
boy's home or something like that. That would change the meaning. So because
Wow.
we've used 3D space, right? If we start mixing up where things are, that's going to change the meaning. Or if we mix up characters, so woman likes the man, man likes the woman, but man, or the other way around, you know? So, okay, well, woman likes the man, but the man does not like the woman. Well, if I switch up the order, then that's gonna change the meaning. So it doesn't have to be complicated,
Okay.
right? It's
Sounds
just
good.
when we change the order of something, that's gonna change the meaning of something.
And you're just trying to get one example.
Yeah. It's not, it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
And my second one, it was like,
Part two,
yeah, part two, you know,
question two.
explain what the different contexts are, and what the different meanings are, you know. So I wrote like cars parked far, like now it's raining, awful, like kind of like I need a ride.
Ah, okay.
So I wonder if I kind of did that. I didn't know what else to add to make it seem more like that. But then I wrote context of sentence, my car's parked far away and it's raining now. and then
So that's
diff-
the denotative
that's-
meaning.
Yeah, and then the different meanings. Can I have a ride so I don't have to walk?
Right,
kind of?
good.
So that one is good then.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't have problems with homework too then.
yeah, it sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, okay,
Personal
just
bad.
the actual denotative meaning, meaning my car is physically far away and it's raining outside. That's all it
Yeah.
means. Versus, yeah, so can I get a ride or?
And I was doing it last night too. Like I had a bag like sitting on a table and I was sitting and I was like, I bet the tea is in that bag. But I didn't move. And then the person like went over and got the bag. I was like, I just used connotation with you. I'm like, what?
But how, but that same example could,
That's
wait, but that same example could change by if you were just saying, well, yeah, I mean, my car is far away and it's raining out, so yeah, let's just stay here and keep chatting.
Yeah,
Right,
I
so-
kept looking at it.
So it could also mean that same sentence with a different
Oh,
connotation,
meanings.
right? The meaning
Multiple.
could change based off of, well, okay, so do we want to keep chatting? Well, hey, you know, it's raining out, my car's far away. Yeah, you know what, let's keep chatting, right? By saying the same
Yeah.
sentence. So context would change the meaning of that sentence. Everybody would know that you meant, yeah, okay, let's just continue to keep
Yeah.
chatting or whatever. You know, or no, which car is better? Well, it's raining out and my car is really out there and yours is right here, so let's take yours.
Yeah.
Could mean that, right? So all these different meanings based on context, even though it denotatively only just means one thing.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good example.
So like with girls nowadays, if you used an example of like I'm going to the bathroom, like looking at someone,
Uh-huh.
that could be like come to the bathroom with me.
Yes, that's a great example.
Yeah.
That's a weird.
Use that one.
Yeah.
all the time.
I do too. I don't feel
Yeah.
well.
Right.
Wide eyes.
That's why I thought about it.
But you don't say that, you just say,
Yeah.
I'm going to the restroom.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna come with
Wait,
you.
Cindy.
The reason why we go in packs is because of perverts.
Yeah.
And makeup and tampons.
And
Yeah,
gossip.
that,
And
and
gossip.
gossip.
And sitting on that couch.
have
with
no
a
idea
wall.
what just happened 2 seconds
I was
ago.
totally.
And she wanted to
Talk
talk
shit
for a
about
minute if you had like 60 seconds.
Well, right, not in the middle of my lecture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
I just thought before you videotaped if you.
I'm videotaping now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Okay, so any other questions about the homework? You all good with the homework? Yes.
Metaphors. ASL metaphors.
Uh-huh.
Shoot.
ASL metaphors.
ASL metaphors.
Was that this thing? And like hyper?
Yeah.
That thing?
Yeah.
That was all those
Yeah, that
things?
could
This
work.
thing and that thing.
Okay.
This thing,
Yeah.
this
Sorry,
thing.
video people.
Yeah.
Wait.
Not
Wait,
feeling it.
metaphor was-
No,
Did
I'm
you-
not sorry.
Did you take a look at that essay?
Yeah. Yeah. I was it was later at night, so I
You
think
did take
I need
a
to
look
reread
again?
it. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I need to reread it, but I read it and I was like, okay, all right, this kind of makes sense. Wait, what is she?
Okay, Dennis uses a lot of ASL metaphors, not just, he'll use English metaphors as well, which is fascinating. But see, that would be an English metaphor.
Yeah.
Your horses, hold them.
Uh-huh.
Right, he's just taking an English idiom and
Right,
switching it
right.
around. Right, but what else, he'll do this, remember this?
Yeah.
What's that?
Gas guzzler.
Right, gas guzzler.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm remembering all of these now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Keely is the one to work with for metaphors. Okay.
Okay, so I may have done that wrong. I took like handshake,
Wait.
talked about like this has a negative handshake,
Uh-huh.
like we had discussed in class.
Uh-huh.
Is that wrong?
For
a
metaphor? Not necessarily. You could just say, okay, so because of the multiple meanings that this handshake can have, I mean, it's not always negative.
No, like travel is.
Yeah,
not-
travel's not negative. It's
No.
very positive. Squirrel is that's not negative unless you're June, you know, and apparently thinks that all squirrels are evil.
What about dead ones?
Anyway,
Well, what about
so it's not always negative, but because of that tendency, that's why there's like why this has become bad. You know, that kind of thing. So I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing if you listed it that way, but you're not exactly saying this is an ASL metaphor. You're not giving one example of an ASL metaphor either.
That part I might return.
Okay.
How many examples of each, like for homework 1, for question 2, how many examples were you thinking for each
I think
one?
that for homework 1, question 2, I think it was just
Just one example for each one?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I had a really lot
Praise
of
God.
trouble.
I had like
Yeah,
three.
Yeah, we did like three,
We did like
so
Yeah, so if you did, then that's how I have it listed. And see, this here, these are extra credit. Notice that?
I
Right,
was
this was
wondering
worth
that
0
line
points.
I got extra credit.
I thought it
Okay.
was just a mess up, and I was like, oh,
Nope.
Jack's made a mistake.
I did not make a mistake in
I see
Excel.
that
How
now.
dare you?
I know. I was like,
I-
that's really.
How dare
I think
you?
we
did fine.
I
think we did
don't know.
okay.
I think
I was looking at this, it's really hard to hear on here when other people are talking in addition to it being distracting for me. So let's try to do one at a time.
So I was looking at the notes
Yes.
that I printed very big, and it says like hiponymy. That's like categories. So I put transportation, and I kind of labeled like all different forms of transportation.
Okay, how would you sign transportation? Remember, we're not thinking English, we're thinking ASL.
So I'd be like transportation,
Okay,
maybe. And then I wrote like sports car, like old beater car.
but see now you're thinking in English examples. You need to be thinking ASL examples. Not that that's wrong,
Yeah.
but you need to be thinking ASL examples. It's
So-
very easy to come up with English examples. Harder to come up with
Categories.
ASL. This is ASL Linguistics, so I want you to think of ASL examples.
Shoot, I think my brain switched on that.
That happens often.
Saying like fruit and then apple, banana, and
Yes.
that's how that would work.
Yep,
That's in the book.
that's a great example.
That's in the book. You won't use it.
Any other questions about homework?
So that
I don't
one,
know.
you want us to list the category and have some
Yes.
examples too?
Yes.
Do you want them all glossed? Like
Yes.
That, like
If it's
saying
not glossed,
fruit?
it's not ASL.
Okay, that's
What
fine.
is this a category?
Yep.
Can I see the sign for carrot?
For carrot,
Yes,
I've seen carrot,
carrot,
carrot.
carrot.
You're talking
Carrot,
about the
the orange
vegetable?
vegetable.
Yes. Carrot.
Carrot.
What did you say?
Carrot.
Carrot.
You don't accentuate the T.
You're usually so articulate. I've
Oh.
seen a carrot this way. I've seen it this way as well. Like, yeah, like Bugs Bunny. Picture Bugs Bunny. Yeah, I've seen it those two ways.
Okay.
Little
carrot.
dogs.
Yeah.
Well, that looks good.
Yeah. So cute.
A joke.
Anything else? Any other questions about homework?
So on the hyponymy, do you want examples of the?
Now, see, if people weren't talking and they actually heard Andrew's question,
I was actually outside at the time.
oh, well, that makes it better.
So.
Too bad.
I want you to list the category sign and the examples.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so next what I want to talk about is the final. And this is located in Blackboard. Okay, what this is all the criteria and the rubric that I will be using to grade your final. So if you have a 94% or above, then you can opt out of the final. If not, then you need to write this essay. Just let me go through it with you. It's due when the final is scheduled to end in this class, which for here it was Tuesday during finals week at 4 p.m. Okay, so that's when it's due. And what I want you to do is I want you to choose one aspect of ASL Linguistics that you found to be most interesting in this class. Okay, that can be broad or specific, right, depending on how much content that you will need to expand on in your essay. So what I mean by that is you could say, well, I found syntax to be most interesting. The structure of language, the types of sentences, yada, yada, yada. Or you could say, I found the word order in ASL syntax to be most interesting, right? So that's what I mean by broad or specific, right? So that all just depends on how much content you need to meet the minimums here, okay? What I want you to do once you choose that concept is I want you to explain how it fits in with under the umbrella of ASL Linguistics, okay? So if you do choose word order, then it fits under the, which umbrella? Syntax umbrella of linguistics, right? So you need to explain that and why, right? So if you choose a general, something you choose syntax, right, then you don't need to specify further, you just say syntax is its own umbrella, right, and it includes all of these things, okay? So whichever it is that you choose. Then after you explain that, I want you to give comparative examples between English and ASL and explain why that's the most interesting topic to you and how it helped you learn and understand the language better. So I want you to say, this is how it's done in English and this is how it's done in ASL, with whichever concept that you choose, so that it is clear. Don't forget that when you are giving ASL examples that you do need to be using the transcription system. Okay? If you want to use full sign writing, that's fine too.
I guess I'm a little bit unclear on the umbrella situation, because on one of your PowerPoint slides, on the part/whole relationship one, you do have a circle with all the linguistics, like circle inside circle inside circle. And so if I picked semantics, I kind of briefly explain everything underneath it.
No, that's a specific example of part-whole relationships, meaning that semantics, you can't have, linguistics can be on its own, right, without semantics. But it can't be the other way around. Wait, did I say that right?
So semantics can't be all by itself without linguistics.
Right.
That makes sense. Okay.
You know, but it can't be the other way around. So when I'm talking about the umbrella, that we have covered 4 main umbrellas in this class: phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics. Okay? So those are the umbrellas, and then within that we have these different concepts. So I want you to describe whatever your topic is, where it fits in that umbrella, or if it's one of the umbrellas itself. And then if that's the case, you need to say, this includes all of these different things. Okay, so if you choose semantics, that you need to say, that includes the meaning of language, so that includes hyponymy, antonymy, metaphor, so you need to include it that way. If you're going from specific to general, then you could say metaphors in ASL, which is under the semantics umbrella, which is under linguistics. So I just want to know where it fits in the study of linguistics.
Okay.
Okay. Then you need to give the examples, and again, don't forget that when you're giving examples of ASL, that you need to be using the glossing system or sign writing. Otherwise, that's not ASL. You're not representing ASL. Okay, then you need to explain why this was the most interesting topic to you. So this is the point now that you can start using I, if you want to. Okay, I found this to be most interesting because in my language use, or in my experience, so you're now shifting it to be about you. Okay, then how this information has helped you understand ASL better. How it's helped you in your language acquisition. Okay, so the application. So this is why I was most interested in it, and this is how it's helped me. Okay, so that part of it is first person, it's about you. The part before that is much more factual. Okay, so this is how it should be structured, and now I'm saying the same thing, but I'm just being really specific. Clearly define the linguistic concept you chose from the text or lecture. Okay, the actual definition, but in your own words, but please do reference it, because even if it is in your own words, it's not your concept, so you need to reference it, right? You are writing a college essay, how the concept fits into the larger realm of linguistics, comparative examples, right? So just like what I was saying. Then, now it's shifted, now it's opinion and interest. You use first person on this, and that's fine. This is where your opinion separates from the facts that you've already stated. You tell me why you found this to be most interesting. So now you don't have to say what it is because you've already defined it. Okay? This, how it's helped you in language, or if it's like, well, this concept has helped me learn ASL in this way, but also just in my own use of my native language. That's fine too. You don't have to limit it only to how it's benefited you in ASL. But that's where the main focus should be in that section. Okay? As you can see here with my rubric, that this is how I'm grading it. It's worth 150 points. That I've totaled 10 points for your formatting, length, right, that I have 3 to 5 pages long, and that doesn't include headings and or cover page, or however you choose to do that. Okay, in 1.5 or double space spacing, font just should be readable. I don't usually have a problem with that. Your composition should be college level. Okay, so if it's not, if you clearly haven't even done a spell check, happens a lot, unfortunately. You haven't even done a grammar check. You're doing things that you shouldn't do even in remedial English classes, that's going to affect your grade, and it's actually quite a chunk here. Okay, I do that because this is a college linguistics class. It's the most academic class that you'll be of mine in this program. You should be able to write a college level essay. If you want to become an interpreter, you should learn how to write a college level essay in your native language. Okay? So your college, or you should have college level or nearly college level composition. I highly recommend that you use the Writing Center. Okay? Appropriate works cited and reference page and using in-text citations. Okay? Remember I showed you before, at least I think I showed this class, how it's super easy to do in like Microsoft Word or easybib.com. Use it, please. Okay, so use that, even if you're using something that you're putting in your own words. Is that your concept? No? Then you need to reference it.
That's not included in the word count, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, the works cited page and whatever titles that you do is separate from content. Okay. Otherwise, the formatting on like, okay, is your period in the right spot? Is your comma in the right spot? Is there too many spaces or not? I don't really care about that. I just want to know this person has recognized that you have not, this is not their idea. They're saying this idea came from this linguistics book or whatever. Okay. For college level writing, I should have even higher standards than that, but I'm not, so.
For community college.
Yeah, come on.
It's a community college standard.
No, it's actually a bit of a lowering of my own standards, because otherwise I would flunk a lot of people. Okay?
Absolutely.
Now, as far as content goes, I have it pretty well divvied up, well, it is equal here, according to what I've already set up there, okay? So did you define the concept? Is it clearly understood by you? Do I know, as the reader, that you understand this? Do I know where it fits under the general linguistics umbrella? Do I see comparative examples between English and ASL? Do I know why this was most interesting to you and how it has helped you grow your language? So all the stuff that I put on there, that's what I'm going to be using. So when you write your paper, you can take the same rubric, in fact I recommend that you do, and go, okay, when Jax looks at this, how would she grade this? This is what I'm using. Mm-hmm.
How is this weighted in the overall grade? Is it
The majority,
150 points?
150 points. The majority of your tests so far have been around 70 points.
Okay.
That's how I chose that to be 150.
And I don't know if this was mentioned for the 60 seconds I was gone to, but do we have a test for semantics?
Yes.
Okay, because I thought you had said that like 2 weeks ago, that there was going to be one, and we have the homework, but you have not said anything lately about
You're
a
right.
test.
What I'm trying to run through my brain right now, I thought that I had it up and ready to go. Now I'm questioning if that was one of them that I had up and ready to go or not.
Is it supposed to be on Blackboard?
Well, you wouldn't see it yet if I hadn't opened it yet.
Or if, because we're wonderful, you just
Oh,
give us a
here we go. I have this. Let me see.
It says not available.
I will mute this and see how many. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's about ready to go. Yeah, okay.
How soon will we know if we will need to take the final essay or not?
As soon as you do the semantics test.
Okay.
So the semantics test, oh, okay. I had that it was due on the 5th.
Oh, okay.
So I had it set up, I just haven't mentioned it in a while. So no, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Yeah, I was gonna open it after today, that's right, okay. Right, so it's gonna open it today, it's due on this date, but the sooner that you take it, the sooner I can put it into your overall thing, and then you can know if you can skip the essay or not. Okay?
Tonight's homework is included in that grade then.
I haven't graded that
No,
homework
but
yet.
it will be.
Yes, it will.
It'll be the last two homework assignments.
Yep, so the last 2 homework assignments and then the semantics test will then determine the final. Okay? Any other questions about the essay or anything else? Good question, by the way. It was not said in the 60 seconds you were out there.
One more question, maybe? Just one more?
Okay.
Okay. So I was looking, and on the part/whole relationships,
Uh-huh.
I wrote like, I almost am like going with eponymy again, I feel like, because I wrote universe, and then I said like stars and gases and planets, but that's like category in a way.
Yeah, but one is not one without the other.
Right.
I would, no, I think that's a good, that's a fine example.
Okay. Cool.
But again, is that ASL though? Are you thinking of those in ASL terms? Or
No.
are you thinking in English terms?
English.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go ASL.
then I have a question about that too.
Okay.
Would, like, science, then biology, then like zoology, then microbiology, would all of that work with ASL, or is that an English example?
That could work as long as you know how you would sign each one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you still have to.
Yeah.
This is good.
See, I'm not saying that,
Okay.
like, your example, for example, is bad. I'm just saying, it sounds to me like, I don't think that you know all those signs. And so, maybe you do, and if you do, then great. But most likely you don't, because they're pretty
It's like
technical.
the hand shape, right? We're focusing on like the hand shape on that one.
Not necessarily.
Oh. Okay. I don't know. Okay.
I put 2 different ones for that one. One of them that I put handshapes. Because that's a category we've been working with a
Oh,
lot
but I'm not
lately.
talking about the category one. I'm talking about
So,
the part/whole relationships.
oh, that one?
Like the
Yeah.
fingers, hand,
Like-
arm,
Yeah.
Face,
Would you
Cheek.
accept,
face, being the whole,
the whole,
the part
cheek
being cheek, nose, mouth, eye.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
You can't have a face
Another
without a cheek.
almost
True.
identical to the textbook would be a leg and a foot.
I mean, it's
I
basically
didn't-
the same
I didn't
example.
put that on there,
Car
so,
and
but just
tires.
saying, like,
Oh yeah.
one more
But,
example.
but it's another
Yeah.
one.
Part whole.
But in metal.
Anything else related to ending things here?
In middle.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
No? No? Okay. So then I'll turn this off.